Dietary and lifestyle interventions are pretty much the only ways of modulating your endocrine system without drugs. Support testosterone biosynthesis with nutrients. A deficiency of cholesterol can negatively impact testosterone biosynthesis. A high-fat diet centered around animal fats, which displays the right distribution and relative concentrations of fatty acids, should help in this regard. Red meats, egg yolks, and several shellfish, besides containing healthful amounts of bioavailable zinc, are excellent sources of many of the nutrients required for reproductive health. A lack of salt in the diet can stress your adrenals into producing more aldosterone than necessary. Balancing the RAAS then seems like a good strategy for improving testosterone levels. Staying clear of excess carbs, especially when not paired with protein or fat sources, can spike insulin, as well as chronic stress. Excessive lean protein consumption can also dysregulate blood glucose levels through hyperinsulinemia. Protein is best obtained from fat protein sources such as muscle meats, full creamed milk and cheeses, whole eggs, and so forth. Protein powders and other low-fat, ultra-processed high-protein beverages might not be so good. Regardless of how much free testosterone you might have in your system, they cannot be of any use unless they dock into their respective receptors on your cells. From there, they must be able to signal the right changes within your cell, improving insulin sensitivity through a fasting and exercise regimen. It can help free up traffic in your endocrine system, allowing the testosterone to better do its job. While fasting, a state of energy and nutrient deprivation can reduce the amount of free testosterone, partly via reduced LH secretion as well as the antagonistic effects of catabolic hormones. It certainly improves testosterone signaling within cells by creating the necessary cellular efficiencies for testosterone to get the job done. Send the right signals to your brain to command testosterone biosynthesis. You could have all the cholesterol and zinc in your body and still go lacking in testosterone if your pituitary, which is also your master gland, doesn't receive the right signals. If you signal to your brain that you are living in famished times, either by eating in a calorie deficit or majorly restricting any one macronutrient, or signal to your brain that you do not need to reproduce or survive, you will produce fewer bursts of luteinizing hormone. Your hypothalamus also senses nutritional status, which factors into LH release. This is your master signal for sex hormone release. This hormone serves as a sort of signal of abundance, telling your reproductive organs that it's time to gear up and reproduce because you might as well be the last hope for your species. LH release is usually closely associated with feeding, which aligns with our evolutionary programming of feed and breed. Anabolic hormones like ghrelin and insulin also help with this signaling, and the conversion of thyroid hormone in the liver, both of which support anabolic activities and testosterone biosynthesis. So eat like a king. Respect your personal fat threshold. Getting too lean in an attempt to get ripped doesn't necessarily equate to increased testosterone release. This is again because carrying too little fat around your body signals to your pituitary via hormones made by your adipocytes such as leptin that you are famished with. Remember that for much of our evolutionary history, humans have been famished. Excesses of body fat are a relatively modern concern. Carrying a little bit of healthy, subcutaneous fat signals to your brain that you have enough abundance left over to also provide for your offspring. A reliable way to have your fat threshold figured is through blood lipid screening, looking at your triglyceride levels mainly, and also through personal assessments of libido. Testosterone is directly connected with libido, the motivation to seek out sexual opportunities. Spend more time in an anabolic state. Testosterone is an anabolic hormone, and all anabolic hormones work best in anabolic conditions, where their signaling can have synergetic effects. Consuming enough animal protein, which is particularly enriched in the branched-chain amino acids, a potent activator of anabolic pathways within cells, as well as supplementing protein intake with a solid resistance training regimen can create the right anabolic signals within your skeletal tissue. Sometimes, anabolism is as simple as eating more food, more calories, and more nutrients with it. Not to forget exercising more. Be mindful of plateauing, as if you want to keep your testosterone production up, you want to create an ever-increasing need for anabolism. Bodybuilders often do this by increasing the weights they train with. Develop self-confidence. Likewise, if you feel as though you are not important and not needed, you might also suppress LH release. After all, evolution doesn't want you to reproduce when you feel as though you don't have anything figured out, because you then risk endangering the lives of your offspring. So making yourself feel as though you've got it all figured and under control can really help create the right cascade of signals that leads to LH being released generously. Not to mention spending more time in those activities that supply you with meaning. For some personalities, this is taking up aggressive leadership positions in society. For others, meaning is found in creative pursuits. The last remaining hunter-gatherers today, for instance, live in highly egalitarian societies, where there is little incentive to hoard resources or dominate over other members of the tribe. And these men certainly do not go lacking in the physique department. Anecdotally, I have found that on those days I feel purposeful, and as though I am doing something of greater relevance. I get better results from exercise as well as enhanced libido. The same effect is produced by the knowledge of someone being dependent on you, perhaps a girlfriend or a daughter, for their protection. This seems, after all, like common sense from a broader, evolutionary perspective. And lastly, do not lose grasp of the bigger picture surrounding testosterone and the single-minded pursuit of increasing it. More testosterone is not always better. Your body makes the appropriate amount of testosterone to support your lifestyle and activities. For instance, married men experience a marked decrease in testosterone. This reduces aggression and improves monogamous sexual behavior, evolutionary programming that improves the survival of the offspring. After all, an important part of perpetuating your genes is also taking care of the offspring you've helped produce, ensuring their survival.